You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Listening to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q, your host. And tonight we'll be covering the Pelicans' loss, 130-123 loss to the Houston Rockets, the best team in the West. But it was an interesting game nonetheless. We'll cover that game with stats, facts, and breakdowns. We also have interviews from Coach Al Gentry, Jrue Holiday and ETWaun Moore. They'll chime in later on in the podcast. Also, we'll give you the injury report. We'll give some more information as well. So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today for the Pelican post-game report. We'll give you a round of applause to you and to my comrade and contributor on the Pelican Eye View, Mr. DC. How you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm all right, man. I'm a little burnt out watching that game. There's so many emotional highs just to be let down.
I mean, it was an excellent game nonetheless. Now, you know, I'm kind of hard on the Pelicans, but, you know, I'm going to cut them some slack this podcast. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to finish going through the rundown here. We're going to cover the injuries because they were cut in half by the injuries. The bench was severely hampered by the injuries that occurred. We'll break that down as well. Why did the team lose this game? We'll cover that, give you the what went wrong segment of the show. Turnovers, among other things. Bad defense. We'll go into it. Also, we'll also preview in the second segment. We'll cover the preview with stats, facts, and breakdown. The upcoming game Wednesday night against the Milwaukee Bucks as the Greek Freak comes to town will be a interesting game nonetheless. Of course, this podcast is podcast 120. That's 120 as we continue to rise. 120 episodes. December the 11th, 2017. This podcast is brought to you by theposhlifestyle.com. www.theposhlifestyle, life spelled with a Y, lifestyle.com. A great place with great prices for all your latest organic needs. They have organic supplements, water filters, heirloom seeds, music, hair, every and anything, kitchen supplies, all kind of stuff. Just go there and see what I'm talking about. Go to the poshlifestyle.com, all kind of stuff, man. Bedding, every and anything. And guess what? We'll have a little holiday gift to you all from the Sports Coma. When you shop at the poshlifestyle.com, put in the coupon during the checkout section, put the Sports Coma on there, and you get 10% off on your purchase. That's
man,
a little gift to us.
Who you talk to at the PRO Media Network? They ain't give me that code.
They gave it to me, and I'm giving it to the people out there. So y'all go there, show them some love at the poshlifestyle.com. Get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle. Now on to the show. Pelican post-game report 120. Pelicans lose 130-123. Excellent game. Great game to be honest with you, comrade DC.
It was a good game.
They played really well in this game in terms of the first, I would have to say the first 3 quarters of the game was just complete. They came out fast and furious. They jumped on Houston, surprised them. And I was really surprised how they shot. I mean, at halftime,
they 36 minutes. Huh?
It was right. You got to pay 60 minutes. That's what Al Gentry said in the previous podcast. And it's almost to the point where I've gotten it. I've heard him say it so much where I'm ready to play 60 minutes. I know in my head I got to play 60 minutes. That's how repetitiously Al Gentry was hitting us with them. With that little buzzword.
Let's give them a little bit of a break for the beginning of the fourth quarter because they had a guy, Jones, who was a rookie. I don't know how he made the rotation, I guess due to our injuries, but as soon as he came out, man, it was all downhill.
Goodness. Chris Paul took that guy apart, man.
Jones on the floor, bro.
Chris Paul took that guy apart. He scored at least 12 points on that guy, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And Chris Paul's like, how dare you put a rookie on me?" And he just schooled him to pieces. Right. And that's welcome to the NBA, rookie. That's what Chris Paul basically said. Now we looking at this matchup here. The Pelicans came out the door. They shot pretty good in this matchup. They shot 49 of 85 for 57%, almost 58% from the field. They were 18 for 33 for downtown, 54.5% from the three-point line. Now, you shoot beautifully from the field with 58% and 54% from the three-point line. How you go to the free throw line and go 7 of 13? DeMarcus Cousins, I'm going to get to that part, but he had an opportunity. The game was tied to go up by 2, missed both of those crucial free throws, and that to me, the game just went all the way down. But before we get into any more discussion, DC, hold your commentary. Let's listen to what Coach Al Gentry got to say about this loss. Here's
Coach,
Gentry.
Where do you begin the conversation after a game played like that?
They're really good. They're really good, and you can see why they got the best record in the league. I thought we did everything that we had to do to try to put ourselves in a position to win. All of those Capella lobs you have to give up. I mean, you either give that up or you pull in, and that's where they get a bunch of threes. And we just looked at it. Statistically, they shot 30% from 3 in half court, but when they get in transition is where they really hurt you. You get cross-match, you try to get back to your guy. Capella's rim running, and they pull you in, and so they're a very good team, and they take advantage of what they do best, I think.
Coach, did you run out of bodies / gas / whatever at the end?
We did, and we ask a lot of DeMarcus to play the minutes that he played, and then be in a game where it's an open court game. I thought he did a great job. Second half, his defense was great in the pick and roll. To hold that team to 18 points in the third quarter is about as good as you can ever hope for. And then obviously, Harden and CP closed out the game, and they're both great players, and we had our opportunities and couldn't quite get it done.
What was your assessment of just ETWaun and Jrue? The combination that they had was really.
They play great, but they've been playing great. It's not anything that's new. I think ETWaun is playing with a lot of confidence, and I think Jrue is playing with a lot of confidence too. The only thing that hurt us is that we had a few breakdowns defensively, but for the most part, like I said, I thought we did a really good job. It's just the mismatch in the cross matches in transition, and then they're out. We're trying to get back to a guy, and what we talked about is just stand with whoever's guarding you, and we had a couple of breakdowns in that, but I couldn't be happier with the effort that we played with, after playing a tough game like we did last night, and then coming over here and playing this team. And, we said we had to get 120, 125 to win, and, I thought we did that. We just, they're great players, made great plays at the end of the game.
You talk about this a lot, but how much toughness did the team show tonight, considering the second night of a back-to-back, so many guys down and to come out and perform the way y'all did in that first half?
Yeah, I think that was what I was most proud of, is that, we could have said we played last night, tough play, playing the team with the best record, and I think we could have just settled. But I thought our guys came out really thinking that we could win the game. And, we had a couple of really tough turnovers when we had the 11 or 13-point lead to let them get back. And then I thought the big play was CP making the 3 right before the quarter, ended.
And, you talked a little bit about ETWaun, but how much does he open up things for the entire offense when he's kind of playing with the confidence he's playing with right now?
Well, what he does is that he can drive it to the basket, and, his float game is really good. And when they come, I thought he did a good job of finding the open guy. And, Darius usually makes some of the shots that he missed tonight. But, we played him a lot of minutes tonight. And I don't know if his legs were quite there. But like I said, guys, we played our hearts out, came up short, a couple of tough calls. But, I couldn't be proud of the guys.
Coach Al Gentry saying he couldn't be more proud of the Pelicans than what they played in this game. And I have to concur with Coach Al Gentry with looking at some of the statistics from the game. Jrue Holiday led this effort. He had 37 points in a game of 41 minutes, 16 of 21. He continues to really step into another gear in that off-guard position, feeling really comfortable, starting to really live up to that contract these last few days, catching that rut. 37 points in this when he led all scorers. 36 from ETWaun Moore. ETWaun Moore, big shout out to ETWaun Moore, had a career-high 36 points on 15 of 20 shooting. He was 6 of 8 from downtown. The basket just looked like a trash can to ETWaun Moore, as big as a dumpster to ETWaun Moore, the way he shot the ball. He finished with 36 points, 24 points from DeMarcus Cousins, who, in my perspective, was outplayed by Clint Capella.
Clint Capella. You got to get his name right.
24 to 14, 24 points, 14 boards for DeMarcus. He had played 33 minutes, of course. And then there was 10 points by Darius Miller, who played 39 minutes, 10 points. Not as effective as he usually would be off the bench. 4 of 10 shooting, 2 of 7 from downtown, only 10 points in the game. And then Rajon Rondo, who played a significant minutes, played 42 minutes. I think that's the most that he's played this season. 13 points, 12 assists, and 12 rebounds. A triple-double day for Rajon Rondo. The team comes up short by 7, 130.
Lost the game, but messed around and got a triple-double.
Now, of course, we know Anthony Davis re-injured that abductor or that pelvic injury. I have a topic issue about that later on in the show. The top scorers for the Houston Rockets were Capella with his 28 points and 8 rebounds. He had 5 blocks, and he just totally outplayed DeMarcus Cousins in my estimation. 26 points for James Harden, 17 assists, and a lot of those were to Clinton Capella. 27 points from former Pelican Eric Gordon, who's just loving it. He had 27 monstrous points in this game as well. And then Chris Paul, a former Pelican, got involved as well. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists from the future Hall of Famer. And that's just a few of the scoring that happened with the Houston Rockets, able to turn it on and beat the Pelicans. In the fourth quarter, the Pelicans just looked like they ran out of gas in that quarter. 34 points were scored by the Houston Rockets to 20 in the fourth. They were outscored by 14 points in that half, and ultimately that's what ended up putting the game against the streets. But let's move on and listen to the next interview from ETWaun Moore, who had a career night. Here's ETWaun Moore.
How do you feel? It just seems like you're so confident right now. You're so locked in.
Just being aggressive. Make it easier playing off those guys, playing with Jrue and Rondo, like the pass, and playing off Cousins. He give me a lot of open shots too. So, just being aggressive, and trying to help our team win.
And knowing last year you were pretty much battling through that toe injury the whole time, kind of be playing so well right now. How important is that for you?
Oh, it's big. Definitely feel good to play injury free. Feel a lot better, just free, just go out there and play and don't worry about, hurting. So it feel good.
What do you think about just the way as a team you guys are playing so well offensively, and obviously like you had 30-something points, Jrue had 30-something points. It just seems like this is the highest level of offense you guys have played in the 2 years that you've been here.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, a lot of talent. Once we get it together a little bit more on the defensive end, I think we're gonna be hard to beat.
What do you feel like y'all just kind of ran out of gas at the end, just all the scoring early and then just a short bench?
We know we were just down guys, so we just putting it out there trying to play hard, but it did get a little tough, in the fourth quarter for us. The game got real fast, but we just keep working and hopefully we can pull those type of games off in the future.
What do you think you guys did better defensively in the second half to take it from they scored 70-something in the first half to only like around 50 or so in the second half?
We just locked into the game plan. Trying to keep 3 out the game, and make them make tough shots, and that was our goal.
What were Harden and Chris Paul able to do kind of in that second half to kind of put it away?
They made some tough shots, some tough step back threes and things that just made plays. That was it.
With the way the offense, the big guys get so much attention and Jrue the way he's playing, how important is it for you to kind of play the way you're playing, kind of open things up for everybody else?
Oh yeah, the better I play, the easier I make their job, because make it hard for teams to go and double them. So I just have to keep being aggressive.
There go ETWaun Moore talking about some of the things that he did during the game here. And ETWaun put up 36 in the affair. DC, chime in on this, man. got a few minutes before the commercial break. What do you think about the contributions from ETWaun Moore, Jrue Holiday, and Rajon Rondo in this game?
I think they were huge, man. The contributions were astronomical. I mean, just imagine if we had this type of productivity with Anthony Davis on the floor. I don't think there's any way the Rockets would have been able to beat us, even with such a lackluster care for ball control and defense.
Okay, very good.
I just hope they can keep this going, man.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. I think that in the long run, the Pelicans, it have served them well to get some of those guys back, but they played excellently. They lost by 7, but the truth be told, they didn't need Anthony Davis. Only thing they needed to do was hit those free throws down the stretch, and that would have given them an opportunity to at least tie the game, because they missed 7 free throws at the free throw line, left points in the game. So that's the type of stuff I've been harping on this entire season. Transition defense wasn't good this game. They turned the ball over too much. That gave the Houston Rockets 20 points, and then that issue, of course, with the free throws. So we'll talk about it more on the other side of the break. We'll also preview the Bucks and give you some more interviews, stats, facts, and breakdowns on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Stay with us.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFD style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Sports Coma, Pelican post-game show on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. We're discussing the Houston Rockets beating the Pelicans 130-123 in Houston. And we just played ETWaun Moore prior to the break. We're going to play Jrue Holiday in a second. He put on a masterful performance in an attempt to lead this team. But of course, we did talk about what was wrong. Of course, we mentioned the fact that the defense, was an issue. Transition defense. Missing free throws. DeMarcus Cousins was outplayed in the post. He was guarded by, at times, P.J. Tucker. What's the backup center for the Cleveland Browns? For the Houston Rockets. Nene played him well. Pete, they even
Nene is a pretty good backup center.
He is decently, but if I'm the best center in the game, I'm supposed to be able to dominate a guy like Nene and definitely be able to dominate a power forward masquerading as a center. But, of course, this is the type of stuff that I talk about dealing with DeMarcus Cousins, the mind
that's exactly
frustrating type stuff. Like, you have all the talent in the world. Why are you always playing for the foul? pretend that the referees don't exist. And if they give you a foul, they give you a foul. How about that? Stop arguing like DC elegantly put off break. Stop arguing with the officials when you're supposed to be in the huddle. I was took times when they called the timeout and Cousins is arguing with the referee while everybody is in the huddle getting the play. And I'm like, first of all, how the hell is Al Gentry not telling him, why are you still arguing? Bring your ass over here and get this play.
I'm sure he does, but Al Gentry seems to be a player's coach. So, when he says something, guys are really jumping. Yeah, there you go. Aren't really jumping the first time he says it. He's like, I know I can do what I want to do. So I know I'm supposed to be in the huddle, but I ain't gonna let's see this time. Maybe next time when I feel it's important.
Amazing to me, man. Like I said, Clint Capella just outplayed him in this game. And I was looking at some of the really interesting facts, and we're going to touch on the DC, then we're going to move on to the preview with Milwaukee coming up. Points off of turnovers. The Pelicans had 18 turnovers in this game. 18 of them. The Houston Rockets.
Oh, they had 19. It must have been a misquote during the game, man.
It must have been because I'm looking at they had 18 turnovers and 19 points off those turnovers. Okay, so the Pelicans now, the Rockets had 9 turnovers and only allowed 6 points off of theirs. And I can see why the Houston Rockets are 21-4 and on a 10-game winning streak. I mean, obviously they know how to play defense. Fast break points. The Rockets won that transition battle as well, 17-9. Points in the paint, you would think that the Pelicans would have done that. No, 58-40. Now, if anything, you can look at and say a very piercing and obvious stat is the fact that the paint battle, they lost it by 14 points, 58-40 in there. And that's just astounding to me. Total rebounds, they did win that 41-36, but I have to go back to the points that you left because they shot 57% from the field and 54% from downtown. It's hard to beat that. But when you go to
they fell in love with the 3-point shot, man.
They did.
It wasn't falling later in the game, and they still was in love with it.
7 of 13 from the free throw line, my friend. 7 of 13. That's good for 54%. The Rockets was 17 of 25, so they got to the basket a little bit more. But the Pelicans, it's just astounding to me how they lose these games. Now they were competitive in the game, don't get me wrong. And then of course Gentry says, "Don't hit me. You can miss me with the moral victory stuff." I'm not into moral victories. I want to win the game because moral victories won't save his butt when it's time for the axe to fall, or where we morally had a victory against the Houston Rockets, and this kind of foolishness. But I
mean, get out of here with that.
I'm just telling you how it is.
That's what they're gonna tell them.
Right. But let's hear Jrue Holiday. Then we're gonna let finish on some of our topics, and then move into the Milwaukee and Pelican preview.
Your thoughts on just the level of offense that you guys are playing as a team? It just seems like lately and again tonight, you've just been so good at that end of the floor.
Just been clicking. We obviously knew that guys were down tonight, and again, the other guys had to step up. So we had to step up to the challenge. We know that they're top in the West, and how good they are, and what they like to do. I think we did a pretty good job of trying to execute the game plan.
And knowing that it's second night of a back-to-back, so many guys out, I mean, how big is it for the team's confidence to kind of, trade punches with top teams in the West the way you did tonight?
Yeah, I know we're all tired, and that's not really an excuse, but I think just to keep our composure and fight really brings us as a team closer together.
I know you just mentioned that there was definitely some fatigue at the end of the game. What did you think you guys did better defensively in the second half to limit them a lot more than you did in the first half?
I think we just tried to get into the ball a little bit more. Obviously, it's hard with James because he's so good at creating that contact, especially at the three-point line. I think we only had one today, which is a plus. But again, man, I think the adjustment that we made at halftime, we came in here and executed it.
Did you also try to just be more aggressive as far as just running at guys and doubling more and just trying to push the ball out of guys' hands, basically?
I mean, at that point, they have a group of guys that can handle it. We didn't want them to shoot threes, and we did an okay job. I think in the first half they got like 5 or 6 in transition, which we wanted to cut down on. But we know they want to shoot threes, and they're really good at it. So They take a lot, therefore they're probably going to make a lot. But I think we did a pretty good job of containing them from the three-point line.
How much does it change the offense when ETWaun's playing with as much confidence as he is right now?
It's great. I mean, 1 through 5 at that point is it is a threat. And ETWaun's been a threat, but to have a 30-point night, and then on the same token, go down at the other end, defend Chris or James or whoever. I mean, it's hats off to him.
What are your thoughts on just?
That's Jrue Holiday chiming in on what he thought about the game. Like me and DC was talking about, big ups to Jrue Holiday, by the way, and ETWaun Moore and Rajon Rondo for playing very stellar, picking up the pace while Anthony Davis re-aggravated his groin. I want to blame that on Alvin Gentry for overplaying him. Even when he had the other game, when he played 30-something minutes, his minute restriction, he played well beyond his minute restriction. The other night he played way too many minutes and he re-aggravated it. Now we don't know, they're going to have to heal. I blame that on him not heeding the doctors wanted to stay with the minute restriction. That's on Al Gentry. Also, the injury report, Tony Allen was not available for this game. He had a knee issue. Jameer Nelson was not available for this game as well. So, let's talk about that, DC.
That's 2 big losses with them, man.
That really is, because we could have used Tony Allen with that defense against Chris Paul when he put up those 8+ points. Now, let's talk about that. Being that your bench was short, you didn't get Anthony Davis because you overplayed him. Of course, a couple of those guys we mentioned are kind of older, so some of them probably need the rest. But why wasn't Sheik Diallo a guy that you usually would play who's at the end of your bench? You really reaching the end of your bench when you got a guy like Amir Asik playing, and Sheik Diallo is a guy that's at the end of the bench. When you super short on teams and reaching toward the end of the bench, you reach past Sheik Diallo and put in Jaren Jones, who hadn't played 1 minute, and you played him over Sheik Diallo, which I think Sheik Diallo could have had a better result on the court. Quickly, what is your take on Gentry reaching past Sheik Diallo? Isn't that disrespectful?
I would love to play devil's advocate and try to stand up for Alvin Gentry, but I can't make any sense out of it, because when I saw it, that's the first thing I thought. Like, why aren't you putting Sheik Diallo in? Who is Jones? Why is Jones out there at the end of the third quarter against the best team in the league? I don't get it, man.
The weirdest part about it, like we're saying, that I just don't understand some of the movements that he's making. And then speak to me about this. What is your opinion on the fact that when Anthony Davis missed a series of games, he finally came back 2 games ago. He played Gentry. The game went in overtime. Gentry played him over his minute restriction. Played him. He was willing to re-injure Anthony Davis in perception of winning the game as opposed to play Sheik Diallo more. I mean, it's just amazing. How do you, as a coach, play him over his minute restrictions for both those games?
We talked about this yesterday. I know I couldn't make the post-game report, but we spoke on this, man, and we both said the same thing. We was like, how does everybody else who had minute restrictions, Rondo was hurt, you had Amir Asik hurt, I don't think Jrue Holiday got banged up. We had another player that was hurt, and they all had minute limitations, and they didn't play 1 minute over their limitations. But when it comes to the most important player of probably any franchise at the age he's at right now, I mean, I guess you could say Giannis. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name.
Greek freak.
The most important player of any franchise, you have him on a minute restriction, and you go over about 7 or 8 minutes? Why? In a game that, you pretty much were winning, or the momentum was all in your favor, and you was going to win that game. I remember watching. I'm like, why is AD still out there? They could take it from here without him. So I don't know, man. Alvin Gentry, I believe he's a brilliant offensive mind. Everywhere he's been, they were an offensive juggernaut. But when it comes to rotations,
he re-aggravated his groin, DC.
Yeah, that is ridiculous, man. When it comes to personnel and rotations,
that is unexcusable.
He's horrible, man. He's horrible at making what we would consider basic coaching decisions from time to time, dealing with things like that, man.
Is that desperation?
He's just not good at it. Yeah, I do believe it's a hint of desperation because you lost to Sacramento. And you should have won that game. And AD, to me, is the best player. And they want you would like for DeMarcus Cousins and AD to be equal, but it's not. So they wanted to get that win against Philly, man.
They got it and then lose tonight. And, of course, Dante Cunningham, we don't want to not mention him. He was out with a bad knee, too. So missing Tony Allen, Tony Allen, Jameer Nelson, and Dante Cunningham is a core piece of the team, not to mention Anthony Davis. That's just totally upon the coaching staff, Alvin Gentry particularly, for re-injuring him. Now, we don't know.
Let's give a little credit to the medical staff, too, because we've been beating that drum on the sports.
I'm giving them credit by not mentioning them. Not mention them here. I'm putting it on Gentry this time. So, I mean, the medical staff did get him back, and now we sending him back to him because he violated the minute restriction. That's
let's give credit to the medical staff for keep having all these players get hurt.
Oh Lord, I hope it ain't a repeat of what it was in reverse.
We need a preventative maintenance department in our medical staff, man. Let's keep some of our guys out there.
Absolutely.
Because we've had injuries with this Pelican squad ever since they changed the name. Yeah. You've had major injuries every year. Right. There's never been a year we didn't have major or significant injuries. Way more than any other team I've paid attention to in the NBA.
Okay, that's absolutely true. Let's move past this game. Of course, the Pelicans with the loss, they dropped 4-4. They're now 7-7 at home. And this is one of my favorite terms I always like to use when referring to what the Pelicans are. And they are, DC, you want to fill in the blank for me? A blank team.
A bend but don't break team, right?
That's not the word. It's another word.
I'm going to let you say it. It's your word.
Go ahead, say it. I want to see if you know what I'm going to say.
Nah, it's your word. I'm going to give it to you. They're a 500 ball club. That's what I'm going to say.
They're 500. What's my favorite word, though?
You got to say it, man.
Midland. They are a Midland team. And people say, what the hell is Midland? Midland means they are middle of the pack. They're middling, always just hovering around 500. They'll go up 3 games over 500 and come back to 500. It's 500 has it's just like this powerful gravity that's just continued to suck the Pelicans. The Pelicans fly up and they just grab them and snatch them back down to the ground.
I think this goes to coaching too. I think maybe when they win some of these games, because we didn't have this with Monty Gentry. Monty
Williams had a win. He got it together, but it took him a while to build that team up to that, right?
But he had a winning mentality.
He did.
He
believed in defense. Yes.
You're never satisfied. I believe when after a game like yesterday, I think Alvin Gentry went in there and he gave him a little sip of Kool-Aid, man. They get a little pat on the back, so to speak.
Well, you need to stop patting. He needs to stop patting and start kicking. That's what he needs to start doing to get this team together. Stop patting them on the back and telling them all this nonsense and tell them the truth that you're Midland.
Game, guys. You played really good. We need to work on our defense and
right. Cut all that out, man. You got to start fussing.
Let's skip that and let's go straight to the defense was horrible tonight.
Right.
You guys won this game, but
how many assignments that DeMarcus Cousins missed covering the Clinton Capella allow him to get multiple alley-oop dunks.
He can win the game on the offensive end, man.
It's totally terrible. DeMarcus Cousins need to be ashamed of himself for turning. I know he was kind of gassed, that was a second of a back-to-back, but come on, man. Pull it together.
He played a lot of minutes, too.
Okay, let's move past that. Let's move on to the next team that they're going to face. On Wednesday night, they face up against the Milwaukee Bucks, 15-10, 6-6. Away on the road is the Milwaukee. They're going to come in here and battle with the Pelicans in their own building. Of course, Tony Snell and Matthew Dellavedova might not play in that game, but the Greek Freak and Eric Bledsoe, this team is led by a very good coach in Jason Kidd. They're going to come in here and they're going to play hard. Let's look at some of the statistics from Milwaukee. They average 104
and 50 points off of dunks and layups.
104, yeah, and nobody can stop me. 104 points a game they give up. I mean, they scored and then they allow 103.8, so they're not at 400. I mean, at 500 quite yet.
Defensive team.
Right, 48% field goal shooting team. They average about 38 rebounds a game, 22 assists a game, 5.5 blocks a game. 8.5 steals a game. They're currently on the 3-game winning streak and winners of 7 out of the last 10 games. They're 7-3 in the last 10 games. New Orleans, of course, is 1-10. excuse me, I would say 1-10. 14-14. They average 110 points a game and give up 111 points a game. Hey. 48.
That's not consistent with
That's consistently middling. That's a consistent middling team. That's for.
They should win. They should score 108 and give up 108.
Oh man, 48.5 field goal percentage that they have. 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists per game, 4.5 blocks per game, 7.5 steals a game, and they lost one. And they are 4-6 the last 10 games. Not very good if you're them. Now, like we said, the Bucks on the 3-game winning streak, beating Detroit, Dallas, and then Utah. Of course, the Pelicans up and down, beating Denver, then losing to Sacramento in overtime, then beating Philadelphia, then of course losing to Houston. So they're up and down all around, and they're just cemented right now in the center of the Southwest Division, merely because of the fact they're not good enough to compete against San Antonio or Houston, who just pushed them down. But they're not good enough. They're better than Memphis and Dallas, who are two terrible teams. Memphis, of course, is 8-19 on a 4-game losing streak. Dallas is 7-20 on a 3-game losing streak. And the Pelicans sit nice and comfortable at 14-14 in the center of the Southwest standings. So that's nice and comfortable for a Midland team. Going to what Milwaukee looks like in the Central Division, Milwaukee is actually 15-10. They're 3 games back of Cleveland, who are playing really well, 19-8. At the top of the Central Division. Then it's Milwaukee at 15-10. Then Indiana at 16-11. Winners of 4 in a row. Then Detroit's 14-12. Losers of 6 in a row. Chicago, winners of 3 in a row, are 6-20 in the cellar of the Central Division. Now that is a couple of interesting little giblets of information.
So the Pelicans are a C- team, right?
Well, Midland would probably be C-. But what's your call on this game? Give me a prediction on this game, DC. Do you think Milwaukee will take it, or will the Pelicans pull off a miraculous thing? We're about to end our show. You got to click up.
The Pelicans are a Midland team, so I think they lost against Houston. It's only right that they win against the Bucks.
Very unique logic that you placed there. I would have to go opposite of you, which is probably the safest place to go, being that.
Well, I said they were going to lose against Houston. I did say that.
You did say that, and I'm saying this now.
I said it on the record, but I told them they was going to lose against Houston, and I said they were going to play it close.
Okay, well, I'm going to make the call here, and I will say they will lose this game as well to Milwaukee. I don't think they'll be able to stop the Greek Freak or Eric Bledsoe. I think those guys are way too talented. I think Jason Kidd have this team ready to play, and I just don't have confidence in Al Gentry enough to think that they'll put a quality win against the Milwaukee team after losing this game to Houston.
What about maybe Anthony Davis can come back and the re-aggravation of that?
I'm not certain he'll be under minute restrictions, so I don't know how effective it'll be. But that'll be the end of the show. Thank you guys for joining us on the Pelican Post Game Report. Please go to the Patreon page and donate all to PoshLifestyle.com. Thank you from me and DC. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLifestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.